So, when is Destiny 2 gonna get a new enemy race?
What they at, do? What they at, do?
So Lightfall got me thinking. It's been 9 years. 2014, Destiny released with 4 unique and very cool enemy factions. The Fallen, Hive, Vex, and Cabal. A year later came a really cool new variant, the Taken. Reskinned versions of those same enemy races but with completely new gameplay mechanics. Not an entirely new enemy race per se, but almost. A sub-race, if you will. And a very, very cool addition to the game at that time.
We want the tone to impress urgency on you. We want you to start to feel like, wow, this Oryx, he's here. He's coming for me and my friends, and we have to stop him. Because we want to wear his like a hat.
Since then, Rise of Iron released, then Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris, Warmind. Since the Taken, the same enemy races have been used again and again and again for years. We've had reskins and slightly new variants, such as the Siva Fallen, the Red Legion, Silver and Mossy Vex, Icy Hive, and so on. However, ever since the launch of Destiny 1, we have never actually truly received a brand new 5th enemy race. And the Tormentors has once again got me thinking about that.
What they at, do? What they at, do?
In Forsaken, we were introduced to the Scorn, a really cool, Mad Maxified version of the Fallen, with brand new playstyles and really dope aesthetics, especially the Barons. However, we all know the lore. Riven granted Uldren's wish, and Fikrul became the fanatic undead Baron, raising up dead Fallen and zombifying them into the Scorn, and then since then, the Witness now does the same thing. Very cool, by the way. I love that lore. But still, not a brand new enemy race. A complete rework, a sub-race just like the Taken. Badly needed in Destiny and extremely welcome for that expansion. But still, to that day, not a 5th. Ever since Forsaken, Bungie has doubled down on the current factions. We have seen really cool reskins, new, bigger, and bolder units, and almost completely reworked enemies like the Tormentors. We've seen Brigs added to the Fallen, Stasis Captains, Lucent Hive, Hive Guardians, etc, etc. Along the way, we have also seen incredible raid bosses, all unique and completely original in playstyle as well, the best of which being Riven and Rolk, my beloved. However, as you all know, we have still not seen a completely brand new 5th enemy race to the Destiny franchise. Not since the launch, if you want to be technical here. And I think it's finally time. You see, the Tormentors and Nezarec got me thinking. These guys are to this date, since the Scorn, the newest and most unique enemy type we have seen yet, and I love that. Tormentors, Bungie, if you want to go with a new enemy race, this is the way to do it. These guys are so much fun to fight. I love the way they move, I love the sounds they make, how they do their slam attacks and grab attacks. They can be a little bit annoying in game, but they're awesome. And I love them, and they feel new and they feel incredible. However, even then, did you guys know that the Tormentors are technically speaking and lore-wise reskinned Scions? I didn't know that either till just recently. Nezarec himself was a Scion in one of his lives according to the raid lore, and I think it's really obvious to put 2 and 2 together, that the Tormentors are technically duplicates of the final God of Pain. So, here we are again. 9 years in, and in the end of it all, we are still seeing the same 4 original enemy races. The same 4 enemy AIs that we saw in Destiny 1. Except we are seeing reskins, reworks, add-ons, and tank units added along the way. So this begs me to ask the question, one that I think is on everyone's minds. When will we finally see the 5th? Seeing the pattern here, I think it's really obvious what we are going to see come the final shape. Ever since the Embracing Darkness era section of the Light and Dark saga began, I've noticed a pattern. Beyond Light started this new era, as explained by Mark Noseworthy.
Destiny 2 Beyond Light ships to all currently supported platforms on September 22nd this year. And it kicks off a new era in Destiny where players will discover the true nature of the light and the dark.
And it returned to the Fallen, the first enemy race in Destiny, and it gave them stasis, the darkness.
This power is a gift, one I will share with all of you. One by one, we will rise again!
The Witch Queen followed right after, and of course paid off the long-awaited Savathun, Hive god of cunning and trickery, and we got reskinned and reworked Hive. This time with a massive twist.
The light. How do we stop this?
Do you see where I'm going with this? Lightfall revisited the Cabal next, and reworked them. Not much, but still, Shadow Legion got darkness powers. So it's only a given at this point. It has to be. I have a sneaking suspicion this might be one of the reasons the final stretch of the saga was extended from 3 expansions originally into 4. 4 final expansions, 4 enemy races. So going by trial of elimination alone, I think the Vex are next. The final shape may very well be a Vex expansion, especially with the fact that the Vex were the final enemy of Destiny 1's campaign, where they will be reworked, possibly with darkness powers. Imagine the potential for all the story and lore fans who have been following. The most neglected and honestly out of touch enemy race in Destiny, reworked with either one of their factions or possibly a new Vex faction, finally claiming the long-awaited paracausality that they have been trying to simulate. Can you imagine it? A new form of Vex wielding darkness against us. Just like the expansions since Beyond Light, the last 3 enemy races were revisited and given new abilities and add-ons. Oh yeah, this theory I would bank money on. However, as cool as that is a theory after all. So, let's be honest here, guys. Even if the final shape used one of the existing enemy races, or took all of them and decided to give them new skins and powers, how much longer can we go fighting the same enemy AIs? The same exact ones from over 9 years ago now. That's why I think post-final shape, I've proposed the expansion that opens up the next saga of Destiny be the one to finally introduce the long-awaited 5th enemy race. Destiny 2 is overdue. Now, of course, let's address the elephant in the room, the Veil theory. That is no longer a thing, because that has always been a rumor in the background. A popular rumor, but a rumor. There may have once been a time, maybe behind the scenes, Activision and Bungie were considering making the Veil into an enemy race, but as stated by Luke Smith many times over the years, that was always just a rumor, and now with Lightfall, they made the Veil into a MacGuffin. An object of paracausal power that was not explained in that campaign. So, scrapping out the Veil, if it's not them who's the 5th race, who is it?
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
For all my lore fans, and for those of you who know me, I think you know exactly what I'm thinking. There is only one thing, one vague yet threatening presence that is actually currently here with us in the Sol system in-game. An alien threat, not of the original 4 enemy races for sure, and a name you might find to sound familiar. One completely vague and untouched name that can perfectly fill this role, and I think you all know the name I am referring to.
Those statues there, look up at them. Those Techians died a vicious, irreversible death. They died in trance, each one screaming with the other's voice, each one unable to comprehend the horror of the thing that had killed them. The Techians you see here died while they were in trance together. Sometimes when you are in communion, you cannot see what is coming close, like the Aphelion. Their last words were these. First it shimmered, then it crawled, and then it screamed. These 3 Techians were victim to the Aphelion. I pray you never see it, my friend, because no matter what gods you have killed, you will not survive it. We Techians are taught absolute obedience to our queen. We have no desires, but what our queen desires. We have no fears, but what our queen fears. Good traits, but weaknesses against certain enemies, like the Taken, like the Aphelion.
The Aphelion are a brief and very interesting corner of deep Destiny lore, and they are a terrifying force to behold. With Drifter having PTSD because of them and his encounters with strange light-suppressing creatures on an ice planet, to lore stories of these things leaving literally no traces behind, to reports of terrifying beasts smelling of wet earth, oh yeah, The Aphelion are the ones, the lore has built them up. There is no question. I strongly believe and hereby request to Bungie that we finally get a new enemy race in Destiny. And I'm not talking tank units or reworked versions like the Scorn or the Taken. I'm talking the full package. Not just one Tormentor type or 3 light-wielding Hive. I'm talking the full deck of cards. Assault units, Exploder units, Brutes, blade-wielding types, tanks, the wizard role, snipers, mini-bosses, and of course a hierarchy or a court of major bosses. And, you know, with everything else in between, like maybe little dogs or beasts or stuff like that. You know what you get the idea. A full set of a new enemy race. And I think the time to do it is the next saga of Destiny. I propose making the Aphelion look like this. Let's introduce them into the game, and let's see a terrifying, menacing new face to a seriously threatening new enemy. Bungie? Sony? Do you want people to stick around for the next saga of Destiny 2? Or do you want to see the franchise crash and burn and fall to ruin like Marvel post-Endgame? This is how you can do it. To save Destiny and to make sure the next saga doesn't just fizzle out into a sad nothing like what's currently happening to Marvel, I say start the next saga with a bang. After the conflict with the Witness and the current enemy races comes to a close, by the way, side note, yes, I'm not saying get rid of all the, yes, continue them into the future. Vex, Cabal, Taken, Scorn, Hive, Fallen, all of them. Let them all go into future expansions and seasons, of course. Keep expanding on them. However, I propose introducing the Aphelion from the shadows. Make them big, make them menacing, and make them scary. New players will be in chills, while the old players like me and the lore fans will smile with glee. As a new saga introduces a plethora of new opportunities, new worlds, new lore, new subclasses, and new stories, I think it's finally time for a brand new enemy AI. Whoa, hell no, kid. I am not letting the Aphelion into Gambit. You hear me, brother? You have any idea what the Aphelion did to me and my crew? Hell no. The Aphelion are no joke, brother. You best get those damn things away from me and my Gambit arenas, you hear? I ain't joking. Get back in there and drop some motes. Don't ever mention the Aphelion in my arena again. Anyways, Transmat Fire!